What's up everyone, I'm Demon Cringe, and ladies and gentlemen, today we got a pretty decent, pretty awesome piece of news I gotta say. We got some closure, at least partially, on why Fallout 76 is the way it is. So yeah, it looks like Bethesda, for whatever reason, thought that Fallout 76 should be more PvP focused because they thought that Fallout players just want to kill each other more and all that. Now, I don't even know why the hell they thought that. Like, if you actually take a look at Fallout, I mean, it's kind of like an RPG with a lot of, narrative and story focus and all that. But for some reason, they thought that people that played Fallout want the exact opposite of that. So yeah, and it looks like we have the PR talking mouthpiece, Hines himself, that actually goes on to explain a little bit of this. So yeah, with that being said, let's get on with it, shall we? It says, as a release for the massive Fallout 76 update, Wastelanders draws nearer. Pete Hines has shared some of the thinking that went into the original game design in an interview with US Gamer. One of the elements Hines says was misjudged by the team in particular was PvP and how it was not as much of a priority for players as they had initially thought. I wonder why. Saying, quote, we were a little surprised how very few people wanted to take part in the PvP and how many more were interested in PvE together. Hines said, as opposed to, I want to test my mettle against you and let's go into a duel. Well, yeah, maybe they should have gotten that message sooner before they implemented some stupid ass Battle Royale mode. Fallout 76 has had a rocky reception, gee, you think? That's like the understatement of the century right there. It wasn't named the worst game of the last decade for no reason. And since release has faced continued delays to major updates, including the upcoming Wastelanders, originally intended for a 2019 release. Now Wastelanders is almost upon us, promising updates that will bring Fallout 76 in line with what players expected a Fallout game to be, such as human NPCs, story quests, dialogue trees, and more RPG storytelling in general, aka pretty much everything that should have been in the game to begin with. The update will also coincide with the long-awaited release of Fallout 76 on Steam. Good, because the Bethesda game launcher sucks monkey shit. Although the game has been out for over a year now, Bethesda sees Wastelanders as one of the first steps in making Fallout 76 the kind of game it should be. Quote, we have a plan, we have a roadmap, then we'll be sharing before too long. Probably after Wastelanders, Hines promised, quote, to get through Wastelanders and then talk about that. That will cover all the way through the end of this year. Wastelanders will be available as a free update for all PC, Xbox, and PlayStation players on April 7th, with the full game dropping on Steam on that date as well. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like we finally have some closure as to why Fallout 76 was as stupidly PvP focused as it was. Now, in all honesty, if it was pretty much something else, people probably wouldn't care too much about it. But yeah, since it's Fallout, people were obviously expecting a sort of RPG-esque MMO instead of a, just a looter-shooter, kill everyone type of bullfuck and all. Oh yeah, and here's also something that I forgot to mention. Now, on the GameSpot article, there's actually one comment which I gotta say is really, really hilarious. So it says, where did they get the idea from? A shitty focus group. Why the hell did they think the player base for the long-running RPG about an open-world questing/exploration game wanted it to be turned into a PvP crap fest and PvE co-op second? That is so goddamn true. You want to know what's really funny? I think they most likely use a stupid-ass focus group, and focus groups are pretty much always like wrong and all that. It's really hilarious how Bethesda tried to implement their idiotic creation club thing, and try to monetize mods. You would think that Bethesda actually took a look at the mod community for Fallout and all that. They actually took a look at the Nexus and all, and saw, how many graphical and story-based mods on there are. And if you actually take a look at the Nexus, there really aren't any multiplayer PvP mods all that much for Fallout. I think Fallout 3 actually had a multiplayer mod, but I'm not so sure. So yeah, it's really hilarious how out of touch these people are. But now we're actually gonna take a look a little bit at the interview itself. Maybe there's a few spots that were left out in the GameSpot article, so we're gonna take a look at that. Okay, so in the full interview on the US Gamer side, it actually elaborates a little bit more. Over here we have another quote that says, "Well, I mean, at the end of the day, our intention was always we're gonna put this out to see what folks think, and then cater the stuff to what we do later to their reaction. So, for example, I think we're a little surprised of how few people want to take part in PvP and more interested in PvP. There's some folks who do, don't get me wrong, but I think it's a smaller percentage of our player base than we thought. Well, again, no shit. I mean, you have a game that's an RPG, you know, like it's story focused. There's a lot of dialogue and all that, a lot of interesting characters. What made you think that people that spent so much time, you know, playing games like this, you know, even going so far as to like making tons and tons of lore videos on YouTube would wanna, you know, play a game where they just mindlessly kill other players? I mean, come the hell on. Like it continues with, Hines also wanted to let the community know that Wastelanders isn't the final step. Instead, it's just the beginning of supported content and ongoing content for Fallout 76. It's actually pretty hilarious that he said this. Like, the game has been out for over a year, and he says this is just the beginning for supported content. I think that should have been, the supported content should have began back when the game was, you know, like, maybe like a month or two after release and all that. It's not that we're doing this and we're done. They've had a lot of work done on the system that makes it a level to make it possible on Wastelanders. They want to build and use for more content. That we're going to be doing the rest of this year and into the next year and beyond. Not really too much to go on right there, but yeah, it looks like Bethesda finally got their heads out of their asses and are actually trying to make, you know, some you know, story-based content and all that. It's pretty hilarious how you know, there were like hacks in Fallout 76 that discovered like you know, like NPCs and all that stuff. It was just a huge crapshoot. Again, I'm not really going to go on a huge tirade about Fallout 76 because it's been done to death. But yeah, Bethesda really missed the ball, and honestly, I think my statement also is the huge understatement of the century, because like I said, it wasn't named the worst game of the previous decade for no reason. Well, I honestly don't even know what the hell Bethesda is gonna do, like since the player base for Fallout 76 has dropped like a stone and all that. Who knows how many people are actually playing it, but I guess when the Steam release comes up, it'll be funny to watch the number of players on a Steam Spy and all that stuff. So yeah, there you go. To anyone that's still playing Fallout 76, it looks like you're gonna get Wastelanders for free, which is basically gonna have all of the content that the game should have had on day one. So yeah. Anyway, everyone, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the bell icon, and if you wish to support me, the page link is in the description below. And as always, I am Jariz-sketches, and I'll be seeing you guys else in the next video.